Welcome back to Everyday Kentucky. This weekend, experience an America in Paris at the Lexington Opera House.
And we're joined by Lexington native Blair Ely, who is currently performing and touring with the show. Good morning, and thanks for joining us because you're on tour right now, aren't you?
Yes, in Jackson, Mississippi right now.
Well, I love Jackson. Well, you're from Lexington. I know you got casted in 2020, so how does it feel to be back in 2022 and returning to your hometown?
It is a wild mix of emotions, definitely. I'd say gratitude is the one that tops that off mostly. I think all of us that are returning, you have a sense that things can just be taken away or stopped like without any warning at all. So it really makes you grateful day to day. And even when things are happening that you're like, oh, do I really have to get up at this time or do we have to go do this? You're just kind of like, you know what? This is like totally worth it because I remember what it was like when I couldn't do this. So anything is worth it now.
All right, now let's talk about An American in Paris because it's a national tour that you're on with it. But tell us about the story for those that are unfamiliar with it.
Yeah, so the story follows a war veteran, an American war veteran who finished fighting in World War II, and he's young and is at a loss of what to do. He's experienced all these tragedies within war, but he wants to still move forward with his life, and he decides to live his life in Paris, and he meets this girl who changes his life, and he becomes a painter, but things get sort of twisted when he meets two friends that are also in love with the same girl, and everything gets heated, and I won't spoil it for you past that.
So how has your experience been with rehearsals and performing? What part do you play in the show?
I am in the ensemble. I'm a dancer, and this show has so much dancing, which is why I'm so grateful to be in it and love it so much. We have dancing on point, we have tap dancing, we have some swing dancing, we have jazz dancing. It is chock full of dancing. And as far as rehearsals and performing the show goes, it's been a little bit more stressful with COVID and all the precautions and everything we have to take. We rehearsed in New York before we went out on the tour, and there was a week where we couldn't rehearse because of COVID cases and everything. So it's been a little bit more on the stressful side, but once we've been out on the road, we haven't had any cases, and everyone's been able to stay safe and still moving forward with the show. So it's really been positive once we got out on the road.
Now tell us when you're coming to Lexington with the show.
Yeah, so we'll be there this Friday, March 11th through 13th, and we have 5 shows in one weekend, so it's going to be jam-packed, but plenty of options to see it. We have 1 on Friday, 2 on Saturday, and 2 on Sunday.
That's amazing. And real quick, I want to give a shout out. I think it was your mom who wrote in, but we had already had her booked for this interview. And I want you to know that I'm sure your family and friends are your #1 supporters, and they're looking forward to seeing you at the Lexington Opera House.
They're unbelievably supportive, and I can't wait for them to see me because last time during the pandemic, we got cut off just 1 week before we were supposed to come to Lexington, so none of my family got to see it. So it's going to be extra special this time around for sure.
Well, we appreciate you so much, and Lexington looks forward to having you back in the city here, just for a little while. We're glad
just for a little bit.